remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem.
Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honoring the Texas flag, I pledge of allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, we thank divine providence for having given us the opportunity to meet together here today. And we ask most humbly for the blessing of our gathering. Brighten our eyes with greater understanding, enrich our hearts with compassion and with courage, and receive gratitude for our fellowship. For the knowledge that there is hope, for the hope that there is more knowledge yet ahead, for the gifts of your devising that we enjoy today, and for the vision of tomorrow. We offer a thankful prayer. And so today, as in ancient days, we thank thee, O Lord, for thy blessings. Amen.
Please be seated. I'm very pleased to welcome all of you here this evening for the 8th grade graduation of 2018. This is a wonderful group of young people. They worked hard and they are truly ready to move on into high school. We had our senior breakfast this morning, and we announced the universities that all of the high school students are going to, and the quality of the schools that they're going to this year is really indicative of the job that our faculty is doing working with these young people. And we're so, so proud of all of them. And we will be just as proud of this group 4 years from now when they're getting ready to graduate from high school and move on to a good university. We are so, so pleased that all of you are here, and I do want to thank all of the parents and the grandparents who are here this evening for the way that you support our school. Without your support, Redford would not exist. We understand that, we know that, and we're truly, truly appreciative. And I am just really, really proud of these young people. They've done a wonderful, wonderful job, and they've set a good example for the young ones here at Redford. Thank you. I'd like to introduce at this time one of our parents, Mrs. Susie Gay, who's a Redford graduate, a novelist, a lady who's written a number of books, and Her daughter is here tonight, who is graduating with the class, Belinda. And Susie has done so much, not only for the school, but for the community and for the young people of America. And Susie, if you'll come up, please. Thank you.
Radford School offers a unique opportunity to build relationships whose impact lasts a lifetime. This evening, Radford's 8th grade graduating class of 1988 has returned to congratulate, support, and encourage Radford's 8th grade graduating class of 2018. Our 8th grade class has organized a 30-year reunion with events going on throughout the weekend, and we're kicking off the festivities by featuring 4 speakers, including myself, in honor of tonight's graduates. I'll go ahead and introduce them to you right now, and then they'll take their turns coming up here to give some words of encouragement to the class of 2018. Maddie Elias, you want to go ahead and stand? Maddie actually graduated from Radford as a senior in 1992. He was here the whole time. He is a city councilman in San Antonio, Texas. He moved to San Antonio after graduating from Radford to attend Trinity University. He graduated from Trinity in 1997 and went on to attend law school at St. Mary's, also in San Antonio. After law school, Manny served as Toyota Motor Manufacturing's in-house counsel for all of Texas and Mexico. He served as Toyota's management counsel for 6 years, and after Toyota, he opened his law firm and developed a practice focused on serving clients from Latin America and Spain. He also presides on arbitrations throughout North America. Manny ran for public office in 2016, and today serves on San Antonio's City Council. Manny's wife, Diana, who's also in the audience, and his 2 children, Max and Sophia, have a dog who believes she's a cat. The dog, Millie, has managed to resist all of Manny's efforts to change her mind about it. I'm going to go on and link a little bit about each of these men, because personally I'm very proud of them, but also to show you how it is that people leave a school like Radford and go on to achieve success in a 30-year span. So I think it's a nice peek that we're getting into people's lives this evening. The next speaker is Anton Kabayan. He is the assistant professor of clinical medicine in nephrology at the Indiana University School of Medicine. Anton attended Redford from 1985 to 1988, graduating from the middle school just like these fine people today. He moved to Maryland for high school and subsequently attended Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois. Anton graduated from Northwestern with a Bachelor of Science in Education and Social Policy. After college, Anton attended Kirksville College of Osteopathic Medicine in Kirksville, Missouri, completed his internal medicine residency at the St. Louis University School of Medicine in St. Louis, and finished his subspecialty training in nephrology at the Washington University in St. Louis School of Medicine in St. Louis, Missouri. He is currently an academic interventional nephrologist with the Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis, and he resides in Zionsville with his wife Michelle, their 3 children, Ava, Colin, and Lily, all of whom have made the effort to be here this evening. They all flew in to spend this special evening with their graduates. So thank you to Anton and his family. We have Jeremy Valdez. He attended Radford from 1986. Sorry, he definitely deserves the applause. I should have let you guys hear. From 1986 to 1991, after graduating from Eastern High School in 1992, Jeremy studied chemical engineering and journalism at Texas A&M University. After graduating from A&M, Jeremy moved to Austin, where he worked as an environmental chemist, technical writer, and a stand-up comic. So maybe both of you guys have. Jeremy studied law at Boston College Law School and was admitted to the Texas Bar in 2004. Jeremy spent several years working for various state agencies and became an administrative law judge for the state of Texas in 2013. He recently stepped down from the bench to begin practice in Austin and Dallas-Fort Worth. He was in Fort Worth with his wife Erin and their extra-large Cocker Spaniel named Buckley. Manny, Anton, and Jeremy have flown in with their families and prepared remarks to address the theme From Radford to Success. I'm going to let Manny take the stage now, followed by Anton and then Jeremy, and then I'll return with a few closing remarks.
Nobody told me it was going to be from Radford to success. I had a whole thing on delicious tacos. So I'm going to wing it a little bit. There's a piece that you left out to me. I got to also do stand-up comedy, and I would play clubs, not to the extent that Jeremy did, but I did a lot. And think about that, right? The 8th grade graduating class of ours produced a doctor, 2 comedians, an astrophysicist. I mean, that sounds like the beginning of a joke, Jeremy will tell you that when old comedians get together, the way we sort of compare each other's success to our success is we ask each other, so what gigs have you been playing lately, right? And we try to sort of figure out their gig is better than my gig. I got to speak to some friends of mine who I did some gigs, that's what we call it in the biz, gigs. We went to do some gigs together, and they're still comedians, and one of them is doing cruise ships, which is a pretty good gig if you're a comedian, and the other one is doing some casino work, and then the other one is doing a circuit around the clubs. And I got a friend who's in Second City, which is a pretty cool thing, right? For those of you that don't know, Second City is where like all the Saturday Night Live players come from. And we were all together, and they said, so, Andy, what's your gig? And I was like, it's not really, I just doing this thing, and doing a few things here and there. They're like, no, seriously, what are you doing? I was like, nothing, nothing you guys would know about. They're like, well, where? I said, yeah, I'm up in El Paso. They're like, you're going to be doing the 8th grade graduation at Redford School. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, man, we would be killed for that gig. And so you should know that there's a lot of comedians who really envy me right now. What's it like to come back and see your old friends who have succeeded wildly after 30 years? 30 years? They have less hair. They've got more kids, they've got mortgages, but they have the same smiles you guys do. Those haven't changed at all. And I'm in love with you guys all over again. I'm in love with you guys too. And I don't have good advice. Don't take any of my advice, because I only give advice when people are paying me by the hour. So, but I got some good ideas. One of those is please try as hard as you possibly can to remain friends. I regret some of those friendships that I let pass by the wayside and collect dust. Susie, I regret not seeing you as often as I should have. And guys, I regret that I'm only hearing your success stories now, as opposed to having been there by your side and living it. My life would have been richer had I done that. But I did keep some friendships, and for those that I managed to stay close with, man, we still get together, we still work together, we make money together. Sometimes we have celebrations together, sometimes we have tragedies together, we cry together. And that's what life is, right? That's what community is. The other thing I'm going to ask you guys to do, and this is, take this as encouragement, or it's just another suggestion, is if Radford ever calls you, ever, even if you have as little hair as Jeremy does, or if you've got as many pounds as I've put on, if Radford ever calls you, come running as fast as you can, right? To help it however it is they need. If that means that they need a little money to pay for a new roof, right? Send them $10 or send them $100,000, right? And if it means that you got to come and fly across Texas to come speak to a group of kids you don't even know, do it, right? It'll make your life that much better. My life is so much better today because I get to hang out with you guys. And because my wife finally sees that I really did go to a classy place. And so I promise, by the way, I've been telling you, this is something that's going to happen to all you fellas up here for the rest of your life. People are going to be like, wait a second, wasn't that a girls' school? And does that still happen? Yeah, and you're like, well, yeah, there's a plaques out in front that says Redford School for Girls, but it's been a co-ed school for many decades before I got that right. But it's still a girls' school, right? And no, it's still it's a co-ed school, and so that'll happen forever and ever and ever. And it's one of my favorite stories to tell because it opens up the opportunity to talk to people about Radford and how seriously they eat with China. And they eat with real metal forks, right? By the way, other public schools, they don't let you use metal forks, right? You guys are so lucky you get metal utensils. Listen, congratulations. I want you guys to succeed wildly. But more than anything, and the parents in the room will tell you, we want you guys to fail spectacularly too, right? Seriously. Try a lot of things. fail at a lot of them, succeed at some of them, but do both of those spectacularly. You'll have a happy life, and you'll have a life that when you look back and you're as old as Jeremy, you won't regret it. Okay? Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me out. Too. Thanks for
Well, for heaven's sakes, when you put up with, what was it, 5 hair jokes in the space of about 35 minutes, you make Anton sit down and you talk second. First of all, Belinda, I know that your mom organized quite a bit of this. I single you out because, I'm sorry to say, I hope to remedy this later, but you're the only person whose name I know on this stage. I just want to thank all of you all for giving us the opportunity to come back and talk to you tonight at this, this really wonderful time in your life. And when Susie told me that the theme tonight would be from Radford to success, it, as is often the case, kind of put me down a rabbit hole of all sorts of different ideas. And I'll tell you, 2 things really kind of kept coming to mind. One thing was my mother in a particular poem that she always used to share with me. Y'all may or may not be familiar with it. I hope you are. If not, I would encourage you to look at it. It's a poem called If by Rudyard Kipling. And it's a poem that talks a lot about navigating the various extremes and the various challenges that you have in life, and finding a nuanced path to walk those challenges. And then the other, actually, really, and Manny began to touch on this too. When I was thinking about success, I couldn't help but think about failure. And knowing that I would likely be talking to you all in this very room, I couldn't stop thinking about a particular failure of mine that happened here. Actually, I hope you'll forgive me. I mean, I know that it's the 30-year 8th grade reunion. This actually happened in 7th grade, so give me a little bit of leeway. But it's a very particular failure of mine that really kind of charted a much better course for me. One of the nice things about Radford is that with the smaller class sizes and the smaller community and stuff, when we were there, everybody got to participate in everything. You could be on the basketball team and on the high Q team and be in the spelling bee and do all these various things and stuff. And that was a lot of fun. And you often got to do these things with people in, you be in 7th grade, and other kids were, sophomores and juniors and seniors and stuff. And I remember one year in my 7th grade year, Radford was having a Gettysburg Address delivery contest, right? So you were encouraged to come up here and deliver the Gettysburg Address. So I was in 7th grade, and I was a very young 7th grader. And I was a much hairier person in general, okay? But I was a young and a short 7th grade. I had skipped 6th grade, which didn't do me any favors in the long run, but we'll skip that. And so there were only 3 people in this Gettysburg Address competition. There was me. There was a girl named Kim Huggins, who y'all remember Kim Huggins. And Belinda, until your mom got here, Kim Huggins was pretty much the smartest girl in school. So until you got here, that's what I said. So, and then Mike Hendricks was the tallest guy in school, and Mike was, I think, a sophomore at the time. So I was this little 7th grade guy trying to deliver the Gettysburg Address along with these 2 other older, smarter, better-looking kids than I was. And I'll tell you, I was crushing it for a little bit. I was doing actually pretty well until about 2/3 of the way through, I stumbled. I think I said A when I should have said and, or and when I should have said A, or something like that. And I remember it so vividly because I was standing right there. And I remember saying, I'm sorry. And then I just couldn't think of anything else. And I ran from the stage, cried quite a bit, and pretty much just kind of like hid until my mom came to pick me up. But I'll tell you what was so wonderful about this failure of mine was that my mom did come pick me up. And the next day, all of these folks that I thought were going to just be all over me really just did nothing but shower me with empathy and were just the most wonderful people when I was dealing with this embarrassment. And and that failure taught me that you could fail and fail spectacularly, but the sun still rises the next day. You still get an opportunity to come back, and if you're lucky, like I very much was, you'll have plenty of friends to help you back. So I'll tell you, a lot of times when we're choosing in making choices in life, we as humans, I think it's very natural for us to want to sort of reduce them into, oh, well, maybe if I do this, I'll succeed. Maybe if I don't do this, I won't, or something. I will bet you all the money in my pocket, which might be as much as like $18, okay, that you will face many more interesting choices in life where you'll actually be picking between ways to succeed. And that's very often the way that it works when you've been fortunate enough to come to a place like Redford. So I'll tell you, as I look out and as I again feel very welcomed by y'all, I just want to say that while I certainly wish for you every success and every constructive thing that you want to do in your lives, that I hope you recognize that sometimes you will fail. But if you do fail, I hope for you the kind of failures that I had here at Redford, the kinds of things that launch you into much better places. Because it was from that sort of stuff that I realized, I actually do like public speaking. And even when it goes horribly, horribly bad, it can still be a lot of fun, and you can still get a lot from it. It set me on this course to be an oral advocate, to be a lawyer, to be a judge, to be a stand-up comic, and to be somebody who is at least notable enough to be able to come and talk to you all tonight. And I'll tell you, this was a wonderful, wonderful honor. Thank you so much.
I'm not as great a public speaker as my friends here, so I have a couple of prepared remarks. Principal Doran, Assistant Principal Stevens, faculty, family and friends of the graduates, and above all, dear graduates of the 8th grade class of 2018 of this fine institution, the Redford School. I consider it a great honor to be invited to speak to you today. About 30 years ago in 1988, I myself left El Paso, Texas to begin a new life in the Washington, D.C. area. At the time, I was an 8th grade graduate of this remarkable institution. The Redford School has always held a special place in my heart. I continue to be amazed at the long-lasting relationships that I've developed as a result of having attended this school. More importantly, I am grateful to Redford for providing a strong foundation in knowledge, critical thinking, problem solving, and interpersonal communication. As a result, I've had the privilege of attending some of the finest institutions in the country, including Northwestern University and Washington University in St. Louis. I've found that the strong foundation has been an important contributor to all the successes in my life. Now, as an adult, the strong imprint has greatly influenced how my wife and I have decided to educate our children. Our children are on a similar path to what I took, currently attending the Sycamore School in Indianapolis, which promotes advanced and accelerated learning. So, my young friends, I have no doubt that you will be successful. Whether it's today or 30 years from now, I do hope that you take the time to thank your parents, your guardians for taking keen interest in your education. The Redford School will have been a significant influence in your success in any manner in which you define. So here are my parting remarks. I am humbled to have been asked to speak to you. When I was a student here, Sandra Day O'Connor, the first woman justice of the Supreme Court of the United States of America, and a Radford alum, was gracious enough to come speak at the school. So who am I, Anton Gabellion, to come speak to a group of 8th graders making their transition to high school? I will say this: success has so many different components and is defined differently for everyone. You are receiving a top-flight education. You have parents and guardians who care and are supportive of you. You have the drive, and you have an open path to the future. One critical piece that I believe has been a key success in my life is the ability to truly listen and to understand all sides of a story, an argument, a viewpoint, a topic. In today's society, I feel that we've become somewhat polarized with the loss of a common path. Society is not simply black or white. It is not red or blue. It is an amalgamation of colors, viewpoints, and thoughts. Take the time to listen, to understand those ideas, those viewpoints which may not coincide with yours. I ask, how can one make effective decisions in life if one has only half the picture? If you take the time to listen, to understand, you will not only be richer for it, but you will be the drivers that make this country a better place in which to live. Thank you and congratulations.
Graduating from middle school sends a student into that distinctive buffer between high school and the torrent of opportunity and work that rushes a person when they're out there in the real world. But there is something equally real and critical that each of you is now facing as you enter your freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior years. It's a time of preparation, both with academic achievement, as well as an exploration of the activities and the interests that will shape you into the adult that you will become after you do graduate from high school. Savor every moment that is directly ahead of you guys. Enter into your experiences with zeal and a desire to create memories that you will look back on, not with regret, but with pride. When you make mistakes, and you will make mistakes, turn them over in your hand and study them from as many different angles as you can. Learn from them, and then let them go. Always push forward with an eager eye to what the current phase of life has to offer you. For you right now, that means not sprinting through your high school years in a blur of homework and chores and gossip and breakups, but a deliberate understanding that these next 4 years are only going to come once. So what mark will you leave before you graduate from high school? What stars will you shoot for? Check out the universe, it's pretty vast. What paths will you begin to carve for your future self? What friendships will you nurture? What kind of friend will you be? The relationships that you have now will show their influence on the future you. So what do you want the present you to look like? Manny, Anton, Jeremy, and I made our way back to Radford tonight, along with Danielle Pfeiffer. Danielle? There she is. Hi, babe. She's a nurse in the newborn intensive care in Atlanta, Georgia. And Kurt Barnett, part owner of Barnett Harley Davidson here in El Paso. testimony to the strength of the relationships, of the inspiration that we found in this building. Many more will be flying in tomorrow night to enjoy the rest of what we have planned after 30 years. I know that tonight, for you all, that seems like an impossibly long time away, but it will arrive. And it will feel deeply positive for each of you to be able to return to your old haunts with pride and a sense of having accomplished something for which you feel a deep resonance as a member of your graduating class, your community, and the world. I congratulate you at this moment in your career as students. I believe in your futures. I encourage you to move forward with awareness, with a curiosity that is never, never satisfied, and with the desire to dig out of your young hearts at whatever cost it is that you have to offer the world.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the words of all of you. It's wonderful. Thank you for coming. And now we will be presenting the highest GPA and citizenship awards. It's my pleasure to announce that the winner of the highest GPA for this school year is Vincent Yang. You know, it's easy to determine the highest GPA. It's not always easy to determine who gets the citizenship award. This was a tough one again this year. This was voted on by the faculty. And it was always tough because we have a lot of wonderful kids at this school. But the citizenship award this year goes to Shreya Patel. We will now award the certificates of completion. Natalia Barrios. Eugenio Casabon. Julio Serra. Ariadna Duran Bernal. Belinda Gray. Dominic Gomez. Neftali Maldonado Piano. Stephen Murray. Leila Ochoa. Shreya Patel. Caitlin Pham. Norziam Rabudi. Slaumers. Raphael Walsh. Allison Weaver. Vincent Yang. One of our traditions at Radford is that we always have two of the seniors come up and present words of wisdom to the 8th grade graduates. And this evening, we have Miranda Escobar and Maya Navarre.
Good evening, my name is Miranda Escobar. I thought a lot about what I was going to say here tonight, and first off, I'd like to say that it's a great honor and privilege to be here speaking to all of you. And I know most of the graduates because you're either siblings of my friends or to some of the girls, I was your volleyball coach this year. And for the record, that was like the biggest challenge I've ever had in my life, but it was very rewarding and I love doing it. So congratulations to all of you. You survived middle school, it's a big accomplishment. But now comes on the bigger challenge. It's high school. 4 more years of a lot of stuff, happiness, a little bit of torture, and a lot of work. So when I was asked to give words of wisdom, I didn't know how qualified or wise I was to do this, but I do have a few points that I think will serve you well and will stick with you for the next 4 years. When you go into freshman year, whether it's here at Redford, Coronado, Silva, any other place that your parents drag you to, make sure to get involved. It's going to be really scary your first year, without a doubt. You'll be at the bottom of the food chain, scared to be squashed by big, scary seniors, even though we're not all that big most of the time. So find a club or an organization to find your friends and find your voice. Your voice is the one thing that nobody can take away from you, no matter how hard they try. So make it loud and make it useful. Sophomore year will be the year that you're more comfortable at the school. For me, this was my best year. You'll be going